Hi everyone, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Hockenheim. The Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland reaches its final stage of the season here at the Hockenheim circuit. And the starting order is going to be Christian Engelhardt and Dennis Olsen on the front row of the grid, with Michael Ammermuller, Christopher Sochling behind, and then Thomas Preining and Nick Yellerly not having the qualifying session that he would have liked to have had. Nick Yellerly, of course, chasing Dennis Olsen down in the points championship at the moment. So the cars all lined up on the grid. Some 24 of these fantastic Porsche cars going to do battle in this, the shorter race of the two across the weekend. So after 12 or 14 races, it's Dennis Olsen and Nick Yellerly, the two championship contenders. This is Olsen leading the championship. The Norwegian has scored 233 points so far. And Nick Yellerly, P2 in the championship, is 13 points behind Dennis Olsen. And qualification at Hockenheim took place in the late afternoon. And Nick Yellerly only P6 then for today's race. P3 for Michael Ammermuller, 0.1 of a second faster than Nick Yellerly. And P2 goes to Dennis Olsen. He set a 1:41.631 for today's race. However, quickest of the lot was Christian Engelhardt, who was 1.5 one-hundredths faster than Olsen. P1, by the way, he's on pole tomorrow as well. Team Black Falcon very, very happy. And Christian Engelhardt, after a double pole at Lausitzring, he set the pole positions 3 and 4 in this year's season. So that's the way it looks then. And the drivers down there. And of course, the grid is always a busy place. It's busy here in our commentary studio as well, because former Carrera Cup Deutschland racer alongside us, Alex Torrell. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dave. So yes, as you were saying, really interesting situation at the moment when we see the car of Christian Engelhardt. Championship still open, so we have the two contenders, Dennis Olsen, Nick Yellerly, with a difference only of 13 points between both drivers, so nothing to be ensured today, nothing to be ensured also neither for tomorrow, depends on what's happening today. Then we see Hans-Ben Kamps to limit, and Project One team chef, team manager, when we jump into our second position car, leader of the championship, Norwegian driver Dennis Olsen. He's been showing a great performance during all the season. Good colleague of mine. We know us since karting times. Will have to defend his championship at the moment. In third position, long experienced driver, many years racing this series, Michael Ammermuller, also leading at the moment Porsche Super Cup. He's making his last round in 2 weeks in the new venue for the Super Cup series in Mexico, together with, as usual, with Formula One, this Legner Huber racing car. So people clean on the grid at the moment. Nice design in the front of Christopher Sochling car, another of the really experienced drivers in Porsche Carrera Cup racing for MRS. Starting in 4th position, also really experienced driver. He achieved some podiums at the beginning of the season here in Hockenheim. For sure, one to watch for this first race of Porsche Carrera Cup in here at Hockenheim. When we jump into Thomas Preining, our 5th position car, which is also fighting for the rookie championship with Larry Tenforde, who is starting just 3 positions behind. looking really good in Sachsenring for Larry Tenforde, but he was not enough points. He didn't bank enough points to beat Thomas Preining for the rookie championship. So still also this championship wide open. So this will add a little bit more intrigue, a little bit more power to this race. We see now Nick Yellowly in 6th position, as my colleague Dave was saying before, fighting for that championship with Dennis Olsen starting in 2nd position. It's everything wide open for the next 2 days.
Yes, but of course, I just can't help but feel that Nick's confidence may have taken a bit of a battering, because we've seen him qualify better than this, haven't we? And Olsen is P2, Nick is P6. He's got a lot of work to do, hasn't he? Because he's got very fast drivers ahead of him. Christopher Zoechling, Mikael Ammermuller, Christian Engelhardt going from pole position, of course. We know how quick they are, let alone the championship leader, Dennis Olsen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's everything wide open, and Carrera Cup, it's a lot of fight, a lot of contact as well, so everything can also run really bad, really quick. But I think both drivers are really under pressure, because a single mistake of Dennis Olsen, Nick Jolie is just 13 points behind the Norwegian driver. A small mistake, small issue can lead it to disaster.
What I find really, really interesting, and I love the drama in this Carrera Cup Deutschland Championship, is the way that the points are scored, Alex. As we see Hans Bernkamps from Project One and Franz Conrad from Conrad Motorsport. Now, cast your mind back to Sachsenring, and Franz Conrad was not smiling, was he?
No, for sure he was not smiling.
I just think that Dennis Olsen, under the pressure that he has been under, has not necessarily performed as well as we know he can. After saying that, he appears to have put it all very right in qualifying, because the margin between Engelhardt and Olsen in qualifying is 2 100ths between P1 and P2. So Olsen is in the driving seat, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw Dennis Olsen. I think he was really fast also at the beginning of the season. Chief, one or two wins. I think he won at the beginning of the season here. Two wins. Sorry, yeah, he won both races here at the beginning of the season.
Yes, he did.
In front of even Mikael Ammermuller, who is a really experienced driver and really fast driver. He was, I think, starting both races from pole position. So, for sure, he's really quick there, and I'm really sure he will be in the performance. But as I said, it can always happen so quick. You know, just a jump start.
Yes.
Jump start, small. Too early on the clutch on these cars, and
these are hard, aren't they?
Yeah, it's really hard.
So you were explaining to us as a driver, you know, you have to get the bite point on the clutch just right, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. It's a really powerful car, but you have a clutch. You have to manage always with the left foot. So this everything can lead you to disaster so quick. So that's why it's a lot of pressure in both drivers. And now it's the moment where you cannot do any mistake. Any mistake you do now, you pay it really expensive.
Ooh, I think you're right. Some of the young fans then about to enjoy the race action to come. In this Carrera Cup Deutschland race, the cars are making their way into the final 3 turns. And this is a real bank turn. You look at it from this camera angle, perhaps you can't see it quite as well, but it's really interesting when you watch these drivers, how they take different lines around this third from last turn. You know, some go, you know, really tight to the apex, and then others up wide, if you like, and using the banking as a bit of a slingshot to drag them around and give them a little bit more momentum. Be interesting to see as the race unfolds, as the Project One team then, and their leader Hans Bernkamps there. There is Franz Conrad for Conrad Motorsport. As always, Alex alongside me will crunch the numbers, will crunch the figures for us as the race unfolds. There is Dennis Olsen going from P2 on the grid. Of course, it's a staggered grid here at Hockenheim, where actually, although he's a car length further back, Dennis Olsen actually has got the inside line going into turn 1, potentially. It depends what sort of a start Christian Engelhardt has. So from a team's point of view, the tension mounts, of course, ahead of the start of race number 1. It's the shorter of the 2 Porsche Carrera Cup races across this weekend. Wait for the final cars to come into the grid. Of course, there are two championships. There's the A and the B championship, let alone the rookie championship. The B championship was won at the last round at Hockenheimring by one Mr. Wolfgang Triller, and well done to him. He's starting this race from P17 on the grid, just behind Marius Nacken. So we get the green flag from the marshal at the rear, so the lights come on. The engine note begins to rise. And you can feel the rumble through the grandstand as the cars go now. Nick Yellerly immediately on it.
It's a really good start from Dennis Olsen. Also, Muller trying to squeeze. Oh, we see Thomas Preining spinning on the first corner.
So Preining went around. He's got it going in the right direction again now.
So Dennis Olsen has this at the inside line, but Christian Engelhardt round wide on the outside, and he had a little bit more momentum, but Dennis Olsen still keeps on the inside line. So it's ahead of the Black Falcon car. Muller also side by side to Engelhardt. Two veterans fighting together. Yes. Experienced drivers.
I'm not sure they like being called veterans, but they are side by side going up towards the hairpin. Christopher Zoechling has got Nick Yellerly, of course, for company, and this is always a pinch point. And two of the Project One cars get side by side, Larry Tenvorder and David Kolkman, and they actually rubbed panels together there. There won't be a lot of love lost in that particular maneuver, I would suggest.
I think a big problem for Larry Tenvorder in that crash. I think he broke his car. He's from front left wheel, crashing into David Kolkman, so I think he will have to park his car. And I was telling at the beginning of the race, the rookie championship is not decided.
And Larry Tenvorder, of course, is in that rookie championship. It's going to be, well, it's a disaster. Let's see it again. Who was at fault? We can't...
It was in the inside. It was David Kolkman was leaving a little bit the door open. Larry Tenvorder was straight for it and crashed into his side door, breaking his front left wheel. Oh, and rear is completely damaged.
Yeah.
Rear side is completely open.
We go back to the live race then. Olsen leading from Engelhardt. Then it's Amar Muller, Christopher Zoechling, Nick Yellerly all over the back of Christopher Zoechling, trying to find a way past. But Ash Kanani is on Nick Yellerly as well. And then it's Henrik Skoog, P7. Kolkman is P8. Then Ryan Cullen is P9. And then P10 is the 54 car. Al Zubair, who is running in P10 at the moment. So the cars make their way up and around the parabolica, as we can see from our commentary booth. The Larry Tenvorder car limps its way into the pit lane. The race utterly compromised for the rookie then, who's chasing the rookie championship, Larry Tenvorder. So Olsen, Engelhardt, Amar Muller. There is Dennis Olsen with his nose in front, and you find that we were talking about Dennis Olsen's confidence going into this race, but once he's got the race lead and he's got his nose in front, he looks pretty reassured and very comfortable in that position. So Dennis Olsen leading from Christian Engelhardt, Mikael Ammermuller. Then it is Christopher Zoechling and Nick Yellerly. Nick Yellerly trying to find a way past Zoechling. The margin between Yellerly and Zoechling is mere 2/10. In the championship prediction then, this is, if it stays this way, Dennis Olsen would have 231 points and Nick Yellerly would have 186. So 2-3-1 would play 1-8-6 if it stays the way it is at the moment. So Dennis Olsen then 7/10 over Christian Engelhardt. This is the closest battle though. It's Nick Yellerly chasing down Christopher Zoechling. Behind him is Ash Kanani. There's our race leader. And you've been crunching the numbers already, and we just saw the championship prediction on screen. And how this will play out, of course, there are still some 12 laps of the race to be done. So around the parabolica then, Yellerly trying to get close enough to Christopher Zoechling to maybe make a move going into the hairpin. He's going to have to be king of the late breakers, though, because I don't think he's close enough to be able to do anything. Sure enough, they all go through. And across the top 5, no places are changed. So Dennis Olsen for Conrad Motorsport, P1. Then it's Christian Engelhardt, P2, Mikael Ammermuller, P3. So Zoechling then, and Nick Yellerly. Yellerly trying to just pressure Christopher Zoechling potentially into making a mistake. He's not as close as he has been on previous lap, but it's still close enough to be able to take advantage should Zoechling run wide or make a small mistake somewhere. So there, the Project One driver, Nick Yellerly, who really has found a rich vein of form going into the final stage of this Carrera Cup Deutschland championship. Former single-seater star, of course, Nick Yellerly. Taking him a while to get to grips with the Carrera Cup. He's the first to admit that. Last season, it was a real learning season. And there, the order on the screen across the top 8. As you can see, David Kolkman rounding out the top 8. And behind it's Ryan Cullen, and Zubair then is P10. Olsen is not being able to break away from Engelhardt or Ammermuller. And equally so, Christopher Zoechling, of course, is conscious of the fact that he's having to defend from Nick Yellerly onto the Parabolica once again. And Yellerly is seemingly a little bit closer this time to Christopher Zoechling. Zoechling protects the inside line. Nick Yellerly goes out wide and will then try and cut underneath the Christopher Zoechling car, but Zoechling knows precisely where to put the car to prevent that overtake coming from Nick Yellerly. Brilliant tracking shot then as they make their way into the stadium section here at Hockenheim. We're watching the battle that's going on for P4 at the moment between Christopher Zoechling and Nick Yellerly.
Uh-oh. It's car number 93, drive-through penalty, pushing another car. That's Nick Yellerly. So I think this...
where and why?
This is totally...
Okay, so we're...
unexpected situation. This plays everything into the hands of Dennis Olsen at the moment to decide the championship into his hands. Happy hand, Franz Conrad. Oh, there we see.
Yeah.
He was pushing Thomas Preining. So...
well, that's...
that is bad news for Project One.
Yes. Well, we did see that right at the very start. Perhaps from the camera angle we had, we didn't realize that Thomas Preining was encouraged into that spin with a little tap from Nick Yellerly, but that's come back to haunt him now, hasn't it? Because a drive-through penalty for Nick Yellerly. Let's go back to the live race now. He's currently running in P5, but that's really, really academic, isn't it? Because that drive-through penalty is going to put him, well, certainly much, much further down the order.
Yeah, and the situation is, if the points difference now between Dennis Olsen and Nick Yellerly is 13 points. If you win the race, you get 25. So it's the difference of points between Nick Yellerly and Dennis Olsen. It's more than 12. Will be enough. Will be enough for Dennis Olsen to get the championship, and I'm really sure Nick Yellerly, he will drop, he will recover, but I don't know if he will be managed to score more than 12 points. To score more than 12 points of difference, that means he needs to finish in P4, which will not happen.
It's a big ask.
It will not happen. So that might, if Dennis Olsen finish in the first position, which also still, we need to have still 10 laps to go.
Yes.
This might be the decision for him to get this championship. So we see in car number 93, drive-through penalty. So this championship is never running out of excitement. Huh?
No, you're absolutely right. So more drama than you can shake a stick at then, as
you see Christian Engelhardt attacking Dennis Olsen.
So Christian Engelhardt then goes P1 now and relegates Dennis Olsen to P2.
Of course, what I'm saying, I mean, this is playing in the hands of Dennis Olsen as far as Dennis Olsen finishes 12 points ahead of...
He's fighting back here around the Parabolica now. So Dennis Olsen, Christian Engelhardt, experienced, wise driver. He'll know where to put that car to prevent Dennis Olsen getting underneath, and sure enough, he does. And all of a sudden, Olsen is now becoming prey to perhaps Mikael Ammermuller. as you said, both Ammermuller and Engelhardt veterans in Carrera Cup Deutschland. Dennis Olsen, of course, a very young driver, but supremely talented. There's no question about that. But lost out on his P1 place to Christian Engelhardt. And now in his P2 is being threatened by Michael Ammermuller. Franz Conrad then on the pit wall there, you can see, who of course engineers the car, and this is how Engelhardt did it then. Just dive to the inside now. And was that an error by Dennis Olsen leaving that door open?
I mean, the drivers in Carrera Cup, they don't have radio communication, but if Dennis Olsen has seen car number 93 drive-through penalty,
yes,
he's seen the banner, he might also say, okay, I'll play safe, I will not block any position, because
right,
if I finish the race in the top 3, top 4, it might give him the victory of this championship. So Nick Yellowly already in the second lap.
Yeah,
so we'll have to come in either this lap or the next one into the box.
Yeah, because you have to do it within 3 laps, don't you, of being notified of that drive-through penalty.
Exactly.
Otherwise, as we've seen in other categories, and we've seen it this weekend, you get a black flag.
And if this happened, that will mean...
that would be all over, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
So, fight going on here between Henrik Skog and Ashkanani, and behind them, of course, is David Kolkman in the number 16 car, another one of the Project 1 drivers. So we're expecting at the conclusion of this lap for Nick Yellowly to come in and serve his drive-through penalty. And in that situation, you know, he is just going to need to go heck for leather, isn't he, after that drive-through to try and gain as many points as possible. But I would have said a lap or so ago, Dennis Olsen looking very controlled and comfortable at the front of the pack, but clearly Christian Engelhardt was able to find his way past him. Here's Thomas Preining then. Now, Thomas Preining, of course, got turned around at the start of the race by Nick Yellowly, hence why Nick has been penalised with that drive-through
Nick goes
penalty.
into the box.
Yes, here he comes now. So, drive-through penalty for Nick Yellowly.
Braking down to 60 kilometers an hour. Pit limiter on.
So this is really going to hurt. Encouraged by his team as he makes his way down the pit lane. Going to come out behind
Rivas.
Yes,
Carlos
right.
Rivas,
Carlos
yes.
Rivas. So that puts Nick Yellowly way down the order, doesn't it? And this a replay then of the reason he got that drive-through penalty. It was the contact there on the car of Thomas Preining. It sent Thomas Preining into a spin. He was able to recover from it, but clearly he was just nerfed into that spin. And Nick Yellowly has really paid the price of that, a drive-through penalty. There is Franz Conrad, who clearly was not very happy with Nick Yellowly and what happened with Thomas Preining. And on board the pit wall then of the Project 1 team. The race by some 0.8 of a second being led by Christian Engelhardt, ahead of Dennis Olsen and Michael Ammermuller. Henrik Skog and David Kolkman involved in a battle here. It's the fight over the P6 position. David Kolkman, of course, a Project 1 driver with just about half distance in the race. Henrik Skog then running in P6. David Kolkman is P7. The order on the screen: Engelhardt, Olsen, Ammermuller, Zoechling, Ashkanani. Then it's Skog, Kolkman and Cullen, the top 8 places, with Piana and Wolf rounding out the top 10. Then it's Zubair, Marius Nacken and Thomas Preining, P13. So the margin between Henrik Skog and David Kolkman as they make their way around the parabolica is on screen for you. Heading up towards the hairpin now. Heavy braking zone, turn in. Engelhardt extending his lead at the front to a full second now over Dennis Olsen, who has 6/10 on Mikael Ammermuller. As the rest of the cars make their way through, and we pick up on Nick Yellerly, who's tucked in behind Wolfgang Triller. So Nick Yellerly currently running P16. Wolfgang Triller is the leader in the B class at the moment, running in P15, and he is the car that is ahead of Nick Yellerly, having returned on track following that drive-through penalty, which he picked up for contact on Thomas Preining, which sent Thomas Preining around.
Yeah, so at the moment is Nick Yellerly P16. That means as soon as he passes Wolfgang Triller, which is at this exactly moment, he will be P15. He gets 1 point. So now we'll see Dennis Olsen if he keeps his position. I mean, he cannot drop too much position, because of drop too many positions, then the difference will be higher than less than 12 points. That means will be nothing decided today.
So Yellerly has got up the road the number 59 car, which is 3 seconds ahead of him. We've got 9 minutes of the race remaining, or 5 laps, depending upon which way you look at it. If it stayed the way it stays at the moment, Alex, and you're crunching away on the numbers, will Olsen have done enough?
Yes, because at the moment the difference is 19 points. For sure, I think Nick Yellerly will still recover. We have 8 minutes to go. That's around 6 laps. So we'll recover 2-3 more positions. That means he will be around P12.
Okay.
You see Thomas Preining.
Thomas Preining moving up another place. He's moved up now, has got past Marius Nacken, so moves up to P12.
And this is another situation.
It's the rookie championship. So
because Larry Tenforde is
out.
0 point. He's completely out of the race. He will not bank any point because he's not even done 75% of the race. Thomas Preining at the moment, if my calculations are right, he's P2 in the rookie. In the rookie classification, David Kolkman is P1. If I'm right, because I cannot see on the time screen who is rookie and who is not. I mean, on the situation now, on the P1 on the classification. It's Larry Tenforde P1. So Marius Henrik Skog is not a. Henrik Skog is a rookie. So Henrik Skog is P1 at the moment. P2 in the rookie is David Kolkman.
Kolkman, I don't think is a rookie.
No, excuse me, you're right. He's not a rookie. He's not a rookie. He raced last season Carrera Cup. Excuse me, I'm totally wrong.
Not a problem, because going into this race, Larry Tenforde was on
43 points different. It's 43, yeah, but you get 25. So so Henrik Skog is on P6. He's 3.5 or 6 seconds ahead of Thomas Preining, so will be hard. But if Thomas Preining adds now 18 points into his pocket, he will be just few points behind Thomas Larry. 25 points behind Larry.
No.
So that means if he wins tomorrow the rookie championship, if he becomes first and Larry Tenforde doesn't finish tomorrow's race, it means he can also become a rookie championship. It depends who has more wins.
Well,
Larry has 8 wins. Thomas has 3, 4. Will be enough. We'll have 5.
Wow. Well, we're watching.
So he needs to win the race today. He needs to finish
ahead of Henrik Skog,
which
is going to be a big ask, isn't it?
Unless Skog make a mistake or breaks or has an incident, so everything is wide open. The moment Dennis Olsen 1.6 seconds behind Engelhardt. Engelhardt leading comfortable. Ammermuller 7 tenths behind Dennis Olsen. So the Norwegian driver feeling some pressure. Christopher Sökling's a little bit down the order. So even if Dennis Olsen lost his position with Amme Müller, we see Thomas Preining passing Al-Zubair.
Yeah.
So Thomas is really pushing to get up to the front. And Franz Conrad looking to Walter Lechner.
Yes.
We see have a yellow flag at the moment in turn 16. We see
Wolfgang Triller, isn't it?
Wolfgang Triller, yeah, trying really slow. So must be we have a green flag again, so run somewhere out. So then he's also at the moment P2, quite comfortable.
So there is the championship prediction. Look, it'll be 253, 223.
This is 30 points at the moment. So this will be enough for Dennis Olsen to win the championship already today.
Yes. Yes.
It's 25, at least 25 points.
Nick Yellerly is, where are we? P15 at the moment, following that drive-through penalty.
They might improve 1 or 2 positions more, but still
not going to be enough.
Not, yeah.
Not going to be enough. So Dennis Olsen then has 3 laps or 4.5 minutes to get to the checkered flag and bank that P2, which will be enough. Christian Engelhardt is leading the race, and as Alex has said, leading it really rather comfortably, 1.6 seconds to the good, and Olsen is a bit out on his own because he's a second and a 10th ahead of Mikael Ammermuller. And there, critically, you can see Thomas Preining running in P11, but running in P6 in the Rookie Championship. In this race is Henrik Skoog. So Yellerly then doing his level best to try and move up the order. So that 59 car that he's trying to get past now.
Waliko.
All the way around the Parabolica then, Yellerly right on the gearbox of that car ahead. Dives to the inside now. Late braking. Rotates the car, turns in, and another place up the order for Nick Yellerly, who moves himself up now into P14 and will chase down Marius Nacken, who is the driver that's currently running in P13. So, you know, Nick is making his way back up the order, but he's going to run out of time before anything meaningful is going to come of this, Alex.
Yeah, for sure. It's two laps to go. It's a really tight time. He might improve 1 or 2 positions more maximum, but I think it's not enough. Depends also if Amme Müller chased down Dennis Olsen, and Dennis Olsen lose some position, but I don't think so. It's increasing the gap between the Norwegian and the German driver. So Dennis Olsen now, oh, sorry, I just need to correct. It went down from 1 second to 6/10. So this is everything playing. It's a double battle, you know. The more positions Nick Yellerly can make up to the order,
yes,
and the positions that Dennis Olsen can lose compared to.
Well, we're on the final lap, Alex. We are on the final lap. There is Henrik Skoog then being chased down by David Kolkman. Henrik Skoog is currently P6. And Thomas Preining is currently P11. On the last lap then, Christian Engelhardt leading the race. Dennis Olsen critically in P2, but Ammermuller having a real go into the hairpin to try and find his way past Dennis Olsen. Hasn't been able to do so thus far. Dennis Olsen, if he can bring this car home in P2, he will have done enough, won't he, Alex? I'm looking to you for complete reassurance. You're the man that's been on the calculator here. This will be enough for him, won't it?
For sure. This will be more than enough for Dennis Olsen to get the championship. Nick Yellerly is still P14, just behind Marius Nacken. But as we said, we saw before, it's a 30-point difference between both drivers. So must be now 28, 27 points different maximum, but still enough.
Yes.
P1 gets 25, so in case Dennis also will not finish the race tomorrow and Nick Yellerly wins the race, which everything needs to play, of course. Everything needs to work out. Then they will not be a chance, but
takes the checkered flag, he wins. Dennis Olsen takes P2, which is enough for the Drivers' Championship. P3 is Mikael Ammermuller. Christopher Sökling takes P4. Ashkanani takes P5. Ahead is of David Kolkman is Henrik Skog, who takes P6. Kolkman then P7, therefore. Gabriella Piana takes P8. Tony Wolff is P9, and Ryan Cullen is P10.
So Nick Jellik takes P13. So it's a 17 points difference, so definitely is Dennis Olsen champion of Porsche Carrera Cup 2017.
There is the race leader, winner. Christian Engelhardt then. For Black Falcon, he takes the race win. Dennis Olsen has done enough to seal the championship.
So, yeah, 223 to 253, 30-point difference. That means championship is in the pocket of Dennis Olsen. Well done to him. When we see also regarding our rookie championship.
Yes.
So we have Henrik Skog taking the win with 25 points. And Thomas Pryning taking second position with 20 points. So that means, as we were watching before, Larry Tenforde.
So Alex working out the numbers as there, the confirmation of the result on screen for you.
I think I was wrong before. It's 23 points, so still can happen tomorrow.
What? The
208 points of Thomas Pryning is 228. And Mr. Larry Tenforde has 251.
Tell you what, can you drive any more drama into this, Mr. Torrell?
It's a difference of 23 points. That means if Larry don't finish tomorrow
yes.
again, and Thomas wins the rookie, Thomas Pryning will be rookie
is the
champion.
best placed rookie, right. So, champion 2017 then confirmed on screen, Dennis Olsen in car number 1 for Conrad Motorsport. Then he takes the championship.
So Dennis Olsen, I think he knows already. Enjoying.
Look at that. He's a nice lad. I like Dennis. It could be double bubble, couldn't it, for Conrad Motorsport, who could take the Drivers' Championship. Well, they've taken the Drivers' Championship. Could also take the Rookie Championship potentially as well. Of course, Project One will be desperate to take something out of the season. And Larry Tenforde then, they'll be working hard to get the car back out for tomorrow. So being congratulated.
What about the team championship? It's a good question, because Dennis Olsen gets 20 points and Thomas Pryning gets 5 points. So this is 25. And I think it's Kolkman. I don't know. I think Kolkman takes points only, something of Jello Lee. So must be also tight for tomorrow regarding team points. We have
so Dennis Olsen then, as you would expect, really being congratulated down there as Alex continues to work on the figures. And a podium, of course, to come. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Christian Engelhardt has won the race. However, the Drivers' Championship does go the way of Dennis Olsen. And there in the A classification, there you can see it's 253 points to 224. So Dennis Olsen has done enough to take the Drivers' Championship from Nick Yellowly, who finishes the Drivers' Championship in P2.
So
what now?
Team championship is not decided yet.
Right.
If it's a difference of 36 points, maximum you can get it's 45, P1 and P2.
Mm-hmm.
So if tomorrow Project One also doesn't finish or has some troubles and either Dennis Olsen and Thomas Preining, or both Conrad cars managed to finish P1 and P2, they could win this team championship. So everything is wide open. It's perfect to play into our
You're not kidding.
excitement for tomorrow. Anyway, let's enjoy the moment. Let's see Franz Conrad. Now he's happy. He doesn't have the face of Sachsenring.
No, you're right.
He's really happy now. Dennis Olsen enjoying also his moment, well deserved, sitting in his car. Good job. Happy for him. Know him quite well. Good buddies.
Yeah, he has done it, and he's left it to the final round to do it. But that's because he has been chased by Nick Yellerly. Of course, it was the drive-through penalty which did it for Yellerly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So drivers then standing by to go up on the podium. There indeed is Dennis Olsen.
Congratulations.
Being congratulated by all and sundry, quite rightly. Being congratulated there by Wolfgang Triller, the B-class winner, P16 in the race. Super slow-mos are the top three then. Mikael Ammermuller secures P3 in the race. Taking P2, and enough for the Drivers' Championship then. It is the Conrad Motorsport driver with Dennis Olsen, whose car we see on screen now. Dennis Olsen then is the Carrera Cup Drivers' Champion for 2017. In the A class, in the B class, of course, Wolfgang Triller won that at the Sachsenring. Taking the race win, though, and a very, very good drive indeed, as we know that he is capable of, no question. Christian Engelhardt, the Black Falcon, takes the win. So, podium is being readied as we speak, then. So, Mikael Ammermuller, Christian Engelhardt, and Dennis Olsen all up there on the podium. On the top step, though, it's Christian Engelhardt.
Christian, für die Mannschaft von Black Falcon aus den Händen von
Trophy presentation time right now. Taking the race win then, top step of the podium, Christian Engelhardt. And Black Falcon, of course, the team received the trophy. P2 in the race, but that's enough to secure the Drivers' Championship for Dennis Olsen. His hard work for the season is done. Franz Conrad down there. How much success has gone through the hands of that man and his team as Mikael Ammermuller receives his P3 trophy.
And of course, well done to my endurance team, in this case String Team Black Falcon, for the maiden win. Good to see them back the top step of the podium. Now it's time for the champagne.
Well, the team sharing in the success then, Alex, as Christian made sure that she got soaked thoroughly. And now it's the turn of Dennis Olsen, of course. He drinks that champagne and celebrates the fact that he's done enough to take the Drivers' Championship, and, well, deserving that moment up there. And I think she got Engelhardt back, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, poor Eve.
Oh, dear. Great celebrations to enjoy. So Christian Engelhardt then, in the end, he won by some 2 seconds over Dennis Olsen, so he'd really got the pace, hadn't he? Of course, he's hugely experienced, knows Hockenheim really, really well, knows the cars really, really well, and of course the team have engineered a fine car for him. So the Black Falcon team and the Conrad Motorsport team down there, enjoying the podium, and now all the photographs have been taken. There is, of course, a B-class podium as well. Whether we will have time to bring you that, we're unsure. So the B-class podium then, and on the top step it's Wolfgang Triller, not for the first time. Carlos Rivas and Jean Schmidt-Stade then also up there on the podium. Trophy presentations then for the B-class, which is primarily for amateur and gentleman racers then in the Porsche Carrera Cup. Wolfgang Triller, of course, was awarded the championship last time out at the Sachsenring. He'd done enough there, but takes another win as Carlos Rivas then receives his trophy. And Jorn Schmidt-Stade then is about to receive his for taking P3 in the B classification. So 2 classifications, A and B, of course, in the Carrera Cup Deutschland. And once again, Wolfgang Triller on the top step of the podium in the B-class honours. This is a championship that he has already won, and did so at the Sachsenring in style. So time now for them to collect their trophies and hold them aloft for the photographs. Another Porsche Carrera Cup race, of course, to come. Over the course of this race weekend, slightly longer race for the Carrera Cup Deutschland races, 10-minute longer race. So the 25-minute race, a real sprint. We'll see you for race 2. Bye-bye.